I was half asleep, just drifting towards sleep, when my phone lit up on the nightstand and pulled me back. I let it buzz a couple of times. I almost ignored it, but when I saw Dalton calling, I picked up. He never rings me after midnight unless something is seriously wrong. "Hey," I mumbled, rubbing my eyes. "You all right?" His voice came low and steady. "Where is Bryn?" That woke me fully. I sat up, my heart already sprinting. "Houston, Human Resources Summit," I told him. "Why?" There was a pause on the line, heavy and taut, like someone holding back a knife. "Dal, what is going on?" I asked. "She checked into the Boardwalk Grand Suite at the club 3 hours ago, used your debit card. Before we continue, please subscribe to stay updated on our latest stories." I did not say anything out loud. I just stared at the bedroom wall and replayed every conversation Bryn and I had that week. She left on Monday and said she would be back on Friday. I had helped her pack. Dalton spoke again, his voice lower this time. "She is not alone, man." I tightened my grip on the phone. "Who is with her?" I asked. "Cole Merrick," he said. "Big dude, gym-built, dark beard." Hearing that name flipped my stomach. I had a bad feeling the moment he said it. Cole, Bryn's harmless coworker, the one she always made jokes about, the guy she insisted was just a buddy who tagged her in dumb memes. I had asked once, maybe twice, if anything was up between them. She laughed like I was paranoid. Dalton did not say, "I told you so." He kept his tone flat, like he understood how this would land. "I have proof," he said. "Camera footage, receipts, timestamps." "Do you want me to send it?" he asked. I rubbed my eyes, my jaw clenched so tight it hurt. "Not yet. You want me to shut the car down? Kick her out?" He pushed. "No," I said. "Let her spend. Let her think she is untouchable." Dalton paused. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, colder than I expected. "Let her dig her own hole." "Okay, I want everything. Footage, logs, every receipt with her name." He confirmed. "What is the plan?" I asked, staring up at the ceiling. The quiet in the room felt enormous. My chest felt heavy and numb, but my head was already working. "We are not confronting her," he said. "We are ending her." He made a low whistle over the phone. "All right, I will keep her comfortable. Make it count." I nodded to myself, even though he could not see me. "Upgrade the suite," he told me. "Excuse me," I said. "You heard me. Let her live it up." "The same room we stayed in for our anniversary last year, right?" I asked. Yep, the same one," he said. "Perfect," I said. "Give her the royal treatment one last time." I hung up and sat in the dark. There were no tears, no screaming, just an empty, steady quiet. But something inside me switched. This was not going to be a fight. It was going to be a funeral. I stayed frozen there for a long time. I sat on the couch, elbows on my knees, phone in my hand. The room was dead quiet. No television, no music. Just the fridge humming down the hall and the air conditioner kicking on now and then. Every shadow felt like an accusation. The couch still smelled faintly of her hair stuff, lavender and that sickly sweet fake perfume. Her throw blanket, the one she always wrapped around herself, was balled up beside me. I did not touch it. Then my phone buzzed again. One message, then another, then a flood. Dalton was not messing around with his proof. These were not grainy screenshots or blurry zoom-ins from some corner camera. They were crystal clear, high-resolution images. Bryn in a swim cover-up, a drink in one hand, her other hand looped around Cole's wrist, laughing like she had not been lying to me for months. The next frame showed her head on his shoulder, both of them spread out like a couple on vacation, then the one that landed like a punch. Her kissing him at the suite door, the same suite we had stayed in for our anniversary. The same balcony view, the same black iron railing she had leaned on when we toasted 2 years ago. I stared until the screen went dark from the backlight timing out. I did not blink or move. My hands felt like dead weight. My chest was hollowness. It was not fury, at least not yet. It was the kind of silence that sinks into your bones and will not leave. Dalton texted again. "Want me to shut the card down? Cut the weekend short?" he asked. I did not think about it. I typed back fast, "No. Let her spend. Let her think she has it made. Let her dig her own grave with every receipt." I leaned back, stretched my neck until it cracked, and tapped out another message to Dalton. "Send me everything. I want receipts, room service slips, timestamps, security footage, whatever you can get your hands on." I wanted a stack so thick she would not be able to talk her way around it. Dalton did not bother asking why. His reply came quick. "Already pulling it together." He added it might take a few hours. I fired off one more line, upgrade their suite. Go all out. His answer came after a pause. You serious? I figured you would want her crawling. Not yet, I typed back. Roll out the red carpet. Let her think she is living like a queen. I want her convinced she is at the top of the mountain right before the ground gives way. Dalton came back with a single word. Done. I set the phone aside and got to my feet. I wandered into the kitchen, opened the fridge just to keep busy. I was not hungry, but I grabbed a beer anyway, twisting the cap off against my shirt. My hands shook, not from grief, but from raw tension, from knowing exactly what she was up to 3 states away while she thought I was snoring in our bed, clueless. I carried the bottle back to the couch, sat down, and knocked back half of it in one swallow. My heart had steadied by then, not calm, focused, and it was not just about Bryn stepping out on me. That was the spark. What burned hotter was how brazen it all was, the sheer nerve, walking in under her own name, using my debit card like I was nothing but a bank machine waiting back home. No effort to cover her tracks. No burner card. No alias. Just wide open. Laughing, touching, kissing a guy I already could not stand. That smug clown she once joked looked like Chris Hemsworth if he worked in insurance. She said it like it was harmless. Turns out the joke landed on me. Dalton's photos started rolling in batches, each one stamped with the exact second. Cole sliding the room key across the counter. Bryn snapping a selfie in the elevator mirror, champagne bottle in hand. Another one. Her phone in her grip, clearly mid-text. Could have been me on the receiving end. I will never know. Probably typing out, I miss you, while she was getting ready to crawl into bed with him. I did not erase a single shot. I tucked them all into a folder on my desktop I labeled inventory. Cold, precise, organized. Just how I felt inside. I never shut my eyes that night. I sat in that living room while the city outside went on breathing, unaware. She had made her choices. I was drafting the plan for how she would have to live with them. The sun had not even cleared the neighbor's fence when I picked up my phone and called the bank. I was perched at the kitchen counter, a half cup of reheated coffee beside me. Screenshots from the night before still glowing on my laptop. The woman on the line asked why I wanted the account frozen. I told her the card had been used without my permission, which was the truth. She explained I would need to file a fraud claim. I will, I said. Just freeze it for now. No more charges. She confirmed, it is disabled, effective immediately. I hung up, took my coffee, and headed back to the couch. A few minutes later, Dalton's text came through. She just tried ordering poolside drinks, declined. She is acting confused, brushing it off like nothing. Cole is uncomfortable, with I smiled. The tension in my shoulders eased just a little. That was the first crack. I did not answer him. I let it simmer. 2 more hours ticked by. I never left the couch. Just watched the clock move and scrolled through photos I never should have had to see. Then, Dalton pinged me again. She is at the front desk, causing a scene. Managers are stepping in. She is demanding answers about why her card is dead. Cole is hanging back like she is a stranger. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees, watching the typing dots flicker. She is claiming it is a glitch, asking for the suite to be comped as an apology. I gave no reply. I was waiting for the part I knew would hit. And right on schedule, 15 minutes later, my phone lit up with her name. I let it ring halfway before I picked up. Hey, babe, she said, putting on that fake chipper tone, but her voice cracked around the edges. She sounded too practiced, like she had been rehearsing lines in the mirror. How was your morning? I kept my voice light, calm, courteous. Good. How about you? I asked. Oh, just dealing with something strange. I am in Boston and my card is acting up. She tried to sound casual. I just went to buy a smoothie and the card got declined. Isn't that strange? Boston, huh? I let the words hang in the air long enough for her to feel the weight. Yeah, that is strange. She pushed forward like nothing was wrong. I called the bank earlier but couldn't get through. Thought maybe you saw something unusual and froze it. I took a slow sip of my coffee. Nope. I just reported it stolen. She hesitated. I could hear the panic creep into her next words. Stolen? Yeah, I said, keeping my voice easy. Somebody used it about 3 hours from Houston to check into a suite in Atlantic City. But you said you were in Boston, didn't you? Silence. Then, what are you talking about? You checked into Boardwalk Grand last night, I told her. Suite 24C, same room we celebrated our anniversary in. Her voice cracked. Dalton? Yeah, I said. Dalton was there, says hi, mentioned you looked pretty, comfortable. I heard her take a long breath, like she was trying to keep from screaming. I can explain. I smiled, walked over to the window, and looked out. I am sure you can, just not to me. Look, I don't know what you think you saw, but it is not what I think I saw, I cut her off. It is what I have in ultra high resolution from a dozen different cameras. You are not clever. You are lazy. Another stretch of silence. Then she dropped the act. You froze the funds? Yep. You and Cole better shake out your bags for spare change. Maybe he has a savings account, but I doubt it. He looks like he lives off protein powder and cheap vodka. You are being cruel, she snapped. No, I told her calmly. I am being exact. Then I ended the call. The second the line went dead, I set the phone on the counter and just stood there. I did not feel like I had won. Not yet. But I felt clean, like I had finally stepped out of a swamp and filled my lungs with fresh air. I spent the rest of that afternoon sorting the evidence. I organized the folder, labeled every screenshot, matched them to timestamps, and lined the receipts up in order. Dalton kept feeding me updates like clockwork. Around 7:30 that evening, he sent his last message. She is sitting outside by the valet. Then came a photo. Bryn on a bench, arms folded tight over her chest, no makeup, no smile, hair yanked back in a messy bun. The hotel lights made her skin look washed out. Her eyes were empty. Suitcase at her feet, half-zipped. Cole was nowhere. I stared at that picture for a long time. She looked like somebody who just found out the flight wasn't delayed. It was gone. The gate locked behind her. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. I already knew the ending. She'd gambled everything on a weekend lie, and the house won. By sunrise, my phone buzzed again. Dalton giving me the play-by-play. She is unraveling, yelling at staff, demanding Compete loyalty perks, swears she is Diamond Elite. I read it half asleep, still lying on the couch. I had not gone to bed. Just dozed in snatches, waking every hour like my mind refused to let go until the job was done. I texted back, Cole still around? Dalton replied, Nope, ghosted. Took his gym bag and left before dawn. Didn't even say goodbye. I sat up and let that sink in. She traded a steady life for a guy who ditched her before breakfast. Could not have scripted it better. I got up, poured another cup of coffee. Black this time, no cream, no sugar, and sat at the kitchen counter. Time for phase 2. First move, lock her out of everything. I opened the joint banking app, yanked her access, changed the passwords, added 2-factor authentication, and ran it all through my number. Next stop was the business account tied to our home, remodeling Hustle. Killed her login there, too. Froze every admin role except mine. Then I hit the credit card portal, shut the card down, blocked the auto pays, wiped the travel rewards. I stared at her name under authorized users for a second, then clicked remove. After that, I called the cell provider, gave them my identification, and shut off her line. Done in under 5 minutes. No warning, no backup number. Let her borrow a stranger's phone if she needed to cry. I leaned back, cracked my knuckles, and made the call that sealed it all. My lawyer, Miles Pruitt, answered on the second ring. Morning, man. Everything all right? Ready to file for separation, I told him. On grounds of adultery. And yes, you will have evidence. There was a pause on the line. That is quick, Miles said. Yeah, I answered. She made it easy. Miles did not press for details. He just said, email me what you have. I will start the paperwork. So I did. I sent the whole folder. Every photo, every receipt, every card charge, the hotel logs with timestamps. Looking at it all bundled together, it read more like a fraud investigation than the wreckage of a marriage. By late morning, my hands had stopped shaking. I was not numb. I was sharp, clear, done pretending there was anything here to fix. That was when I turned to the public side of things. Bryn had always painted us online like we were some storybook couple. Big smiles, vacation snapshots, those motivational captions about grinding together, rising together. Now those posts felt like poison, her flaunting a fantasy while sneaking off to her side trips with Cole. I opened up Facebook, scrolled back 3 months, and found one of her posts, a picture of us at a Napa Valley wine tour. Her caption had read, 2 hearts, 1 hustle. Built, not bought. I remembered standing next to her for the 10th retake, her forcing a smile while my mind was on invoices and how we were going to pay for the new HVAC unit. Beneath that post, I typed a single line, Hope Cole enjoyed AC. Receipts incoming. No hashtags, no rage, just truth. 5 minutes later, a notification popped up. Bryn replied to your comment. By the time I clicked, her whole profile was gone, deleted, vanished. Dalton texted right after. She is losing it. Think she saw your post. She is pacing the lobby like a maniac. I wrote back, you still got it saved? His answer was instant. Every word. Screenshots and backups. Even screen recorded her profile before it vanished. You know I am thorough. I actually laughed. The first real laugh in days. Dalton had always been solid, but now he was operating like a surgeon. I logged out of Facebook and leaned back, staring at the wall while the air vent hummed above me. I felt no guilt. No mercy. What I felt was control. She had been reckless. I had been patient. Now, the trap was sprung, and she finally knew it. I grabbed my keys and went for a drive. Not far, just up to the ridge behind the neighborhood, where the valley stretched out for miles. The sun was already hammering down, the mid-morning heat hanging heavy. I parked, rolled down the window, and let the breeze wash over my face. Out there, I pictured her situation. Sitting in a fancy hotel lobby with no working cards, no phone line. The man she cheated with gone before dawn. I could almost see her trying one more time to charm the manager. Lipstick smeared, voice cracking, tripping over her own lies. But nothing would work, because every exit she thought she had, I had already locked tight. I drove home from the ridge and sat back down at the computer. Her company email was still saved in my autofill. She had used the desktop a few times when her laptop felt distracting. I clicked Compose, attached everything: hotel logs, room service slips, bar tabs, time-stamped photos, even the upgrade invoice with her name clear as day. Subject line, expense report discrepancies. Urgent. I left the body empty. The files spoke for themselves. Bryn worked in corporate human resources. Big title, even bigger ego. She ran compliance trainings, gave long online lectures about ethics and leadership. She was supposed to be the model employee, but she had booked her flight with the company card, then switched over to mine for the rest of her spree. I hit send. Less than an hour later, a notice bounced back, not an error, but a forward alert. Her inbox had already been rerouted to her supervisor. Perfect. Around 2 in the afternoon, Dalton pinged me again. You seen this yet? Then came a screenshot. Cole was not just some colleague, he was her subordinate. Dalton had dug up an old Instagram story from a company retreat, then pulled the org chart from LinkedIn. Cole reported directly under her. That alone was a corporate landmine. And it did not stop there. Cole was also married. Dalton had spotted him on an AC gym page his girlfriend followed, then traced it to a tagged wedding photo. The bride, Marlo Merrick. Blonde, clean-cut private account. But her circles overlapped with Bryn's from a Women in Business conference last year. 3 hours later, Dalton pinged me again. Marlo just made a call. She has a friend in their human resources office. She knows. It is finished. I leaned back in my chair, stared up at the ceiling, and just waited. 48 hours. That is how long it took. First came the company-wide email Dalton's girlfriend forwarded to me. Effective immediately, Bryn Rhodes and Cole Merrick are no longer employed at Vantage Solutions due to serious violations of corporate conduct policies. We do not tolerate abuse of company resources or power dynamics in the workplace. Second, Dalton sent me a screenshot from Marlo's story. Just a black background with 3 words written across it. Found out. Done. By the next morning, Bryn was calling me. Unknown number. I ignored it at first, but when it came through a 3rd time, then a 4th, I answered, curious just how far she had fallen. Please, she rasped, voice hoarse. I just need a flight home. No job, huh? I asked. Silence stretched for a beat. You sent it all to my work email, she said finally. Everything. I did, I told her. Did not even bother watermarking it, wanted them to see for themselves. Her voice cracked. I lost everything. I said nothing. She sniffed, tried again. I do not have a card. I do not have any cash. I cannot get home. You still in AC? I asked, checking the clock. Yeah. All right, I said. I will book you a flight. Really? She almost sounded relieved, but not the kind you expect. I logged in and found the cheapest red-eye I could. A middle seat with 4 layovers, no carry-on, no perks, no upgrades, not even priority boarding. Just a long, miserable ride with plenty of time to think. I booked it, texted her the details, and left it at that. When the day came, I knew her landing time, but I did not go to the airport, did not even stay at home. I drove across town early and waited in a diner parking lot until I got the delivery notification. I had left an envelope taped to the door. Not a house key, but a key to a storage unit 20 minutes outside of town. Inside sat everything she owned. I had changed every lock the week before, the doors, the garage, even the mailbox code. Her name was not on the deed, and the lawyer had already confirmed she had no right to enter. The note taped to the door read, "Everything you own is in storage unit 129. Combo is our old alarm code. Goodbye. Nothing else, no signature, no plea, just instructions, cold and clean." Dalton texted soon after. "She is outside your door, just staring at the note. No bags except her purse and a beat-up roller case. Looks like she cried the whole flight. I told him to keep her moving, make sure she understood it was over. He did. She called an Uber to the storage facility. I know, because I got the motion alert from the security camera inside. She punched in the old alarm code, the one she used to joke was too simple to guess, and walked through the door. The lights flicked on. She stopped dead in front of the stacked boxes. Everything labeled, her clothes, her shoes, bathroom stuff, jewelry box. I had even folded her wedding dress neatly into a plastic bin. All of it was there, but she had nowhere to take it. She stood staring like she was looking into her own grave. I was not watching to feel pity. I just wanted proof she finally understood. The log said she stayed in that unit nearly an hour. She did not move a single box, just stood frozen, maybe hoping one would open and tell her it was all a bad dream. Nothing did. The next morning, I called my cousin Fletcher. He runs a pawn shop outside Mesa. I brought him the ring. Platinum band, custom cut stone. I had overpaid back then because she deserved something timeless. Fletcher did not ask questions. He checked the diamond, slid cash across the counter, and wrote a receipt. On my way back, I stopped behind a strip mall and walked into a Veterans Outreach Center, handed them the envelope with the full amount, told them to mark the donation under her name. Not mine. I did not do it to look noble. I did it because I wanted every trace of her to mean something to someone else. At least that ring could help people who never lied while wearing it. Back home, I shut down everything else, changed my phone number, deleted her email from my contacts. I took down our wedding photo and tossed it in a box marked trash. Quiet, methodical, like scraping mold off drywall. She started couch surfing almost immediately. Word spread fast. Atlantic City scandals have a way of leaking into every corner. The same friends who used to crowd our backyard barbecues split clean in half. Most folks started keeping their distance. Not because I told them to, but because no one wants to stand too close to a woman who torches her marriage and her career in the same week. Word trickled back through a couple of mutual friends. She had been crashing on Tessa Crane's pull-out couch, then bouncing to some coworkers' cramped studio over in Prescott. She never stayed anywhere long, a few nights here, a few nights there. Once the begging calls started, people stopped offering her real beds. That is when she tried to circle back to me through side doors. First stop was my sister. Bryn called her late one night, crying, swearing up and down that she was sorry, saying she never thought things would spiral this far. My sister did not entertain it. She let Bryn ramble, then hung up and called me right after. We sat down for dinner the next day. She slid her phone across the table and hit play on the voicemail. Bryn's voice came through, shaky and broken. I know I made a mistake. Bryn's voice cracked through the speaker, that practiced softness she always put on when she wanted something. But please, can you just ask him to call me? I do not know what else to do. Then the coworkers started popping up. Two of them texted me in the same week saying Bryn had wandered into their offices under the pretense of dropping something off, but really just fishing for pity. Both times she tried to slip in a line about how I was doing, then drifted out without much else. One guy told her flat out, "You made your bed." When that angle dried up, she showed up at my barber's shop, sat in the waiting area until he finally asked what she wanted. She asked him to give me a note. He tossed it in the trash as soon as she walked out. After that, the voicemails started flooding my business line. Different numbers every time. Prepaid cells, blocked caller IDs, even a landline from some church lobby, judging by the echo and kids in the background. Every message had the same script. I am sorry. I miss you. I just need 5 minutes. I do not know who I am without you. I saved them all. labeled them by date, never listened to them twice. It was not about nostalgia. It was about keeping proof, proof that even after everything, she never stopped performing, even when the audience had already walked out. I never answered. Not once. I was not stepping into her play. Then came the note. It was a Thursday. I had just wrapped a cabinet install across town and pulled into my driveway as the sun dipped low. I spotted it immediately. A plain white envelope tucked under the wiper of my truck. No stamp, no address, just my first name in handwriting I had not seen in weeks. I stood there for a second, weighing whether to open it or burn it. In the end, I opened it. Not out of curiosity, out of obligation, like flipping the last page of a book you already hate. Inside was one sheet, front only, handwritten, no greeting. I know I cannot fix what I did. I know I do not deserve a second chance, but I cannot breathe without trying to reach you. I am not asking for us to go back. I am just asking you to talk to me. One time. Please. That is all I am asking. No signature, no number, no address, nothing to reply to. I folded it up, put it in the glove box, and shut it. Did not tear it. Did not tack it to the fridge like a relic. Just left it in the dark with spare napkins and old registration slips. Because that is what it was now. Clutter. She had tried everything, and now she had nothing left. The letter sat there for 3 days before I responded, not because I doubted myself, those doubts were long gone, but because I wanted her to feel the weight of silence. When I finally texted, I gave her only a time and a place, no pleasantries, just the address of a diner on the edge of town and one word, tomorrow. Neutral ground, far from our house. No history in the walls, just cracked vinyl booths, weak coffee, and a waitress who minded her own business. I got there 10 minutes early, slid into a corner booth where I could see the parking lot. The folder was already on the table. Inside it, the final divorce papers. No alimony, no shared assets, no second chances. She arrived right on time. Hair tied back, no makeup, no heels. Just jeans, a faded hoodie, and sneakers that looked like they had walked through more than a few regrets. She looked thinner, hollowed out, like the energy to keep up appearances had run dry. She slid into the booth across from me and stayed quiet at first, eyes down on the table, then darting around the room like she could not decide where to look. Finally, she said, "Thanks for meeting me." I nodded once, said nothing. She took a breath. "I am not here to make excuses." I stayed silent. She swallowed hard, her voice already catching. "I have been trying to figure out how I got here, how we got here, and I know you do not owe me anything. I know that. But I need to say this." I leaned back, arms crossed, still did not speak. "It started long before that weekend," she said, eyes finally meeting mine. "I felt like I was disappearing. Every day was the same. You were always working. I was always tired, and it just felt like no one saw me." I let her keep talking. I wanted every excuse she had to spill out, right there on that table. Cole was nothing but stupid, she said. It wasn't love. It wasn't even about him. It was about someone noticing me. Someone who thought I was fun, attractive, like I mattered. I kept quiet, let her keep unraveling. "He meant nothing," she went on. "I didn't plan it. I didn't even like him that way. But once it started, I didn't know how to stop. And by the time I wanted to undo it, it was already too late." I gave it 5 more seconds of silence, just long enough for her to sit in the weight of what she'd said. Then I finally spoke. "You didn't feel seen, so you booked a luxury suite with another man and used my card to pay for it." She looked away. "You didn't feel special, so you laughed by the pool with your coworker while I sat at home thinking you were in Houston." Her voice was softer now. "I know, I screwed up." "No," I said flat. "You didn't screw up. You lied. You cheated. You dragged me through hell and then tried to dress it up as some sob story about feeling invisible. You weren't invisible, Bryn. You were just entitled." Her eyes filled, but I didn't stop. "You used me like a cash machine. Lied to my face while planning a weekend getaway with a man who worked under you. And when it all blew up, you didn't come clean. You played dumb. You begged for cover. You let everyone else feel the fallout while you cried your way across town." She wiped her face with her sleeve, nodding slow. "You're right." I reached beside me, pulled the folder from the seat, and slid it across the table. "What's this?" she asked. "Final papers," I said. "Already reviewed. No alimony, no split assets. You leave with what you already have, which isn't much." She opened it, skimmed a few lines, her hand trembling. You're not even going to talk about it? I just did, I told her. There's nothing left to talk about. But I'm sorry, she whispered, tears sliding now. I mean it. I wish I could take it back. And I mean this, I said. You're free now. So am I. That landed harder than anything else I'd said. She flinched, like the words burned. You can sign it now or take it with you, I added, standing. Either way, it's done. She didn't move, just sat clutching the folder like it might shatter. I turned, walked past the counter, nodded to the waitress, and pushed out the door. Outside, the air was cool against my face. I walked to my truck, opened the door, and never looked back. She wanted closure. She got it. After the diner, I never heard from Bryn again. No calls, no voicemails, no surprise visits. She just disappeared, or tried to. Word drifted back from people who couldn't help themselves. She'd moved 2 towns over, landed a job at a chain pharmacy off the interstate, working the register. No car, no trips, no selfies in hotel lobbies. Just a name tag, fluorescent lights, and a long walk to the bus stop if her shift ended late. I didn't feel good about it. But I didn't feel bad either. It just felt fitting. Mutual friends, the ones who never took sides but still saw everything, said she told people, I used to have it all, like her past was some stolen dream, not the mess she burned down for a weekend fling with a guy who couldn't even cover her breakfast bill. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. Picked up a used GMC Sierra, bit of rust on the sides, but solid under the hood, hauled scrap wood, cleared the garage, turned it back into a workshop like it used to be before life got complicated, started making things again. Chairs, frames, simple work, honest work. A buddy from the job invited me to poker night, weekly, low stakes, just cards and beer, a room full of men who didn't care about my history. I went that first Friday, and I never stopped. It was quiet. It was regular. Nothing fancy, just a handful of guys, cards on the table, a couple of beers, and laughter that filled in the spaces where silence used to weigh me down. This silence was different, light, easy. Every now and then, Bryn's name would pop up, always quick, tossed out like background noise. Saw her working the register at CVS, or think she's with some guy who used to bartend at Redstone Bar. Nothing that ever stuck. Trust runs thin when your story's been passed around more times than the bottle at last call. 6 months after that diner meeting, an email landed in my inbox. Subject line, from Marlo. At first, I didn't even place the name. Then it clicked, Cole's ex-wife. The message was short. Hey, just wanted to say thank you. I never would have known if you hadn't done what you did. My life's better now. I hope yours is too. That was it. I didn't write back, not because I didn't value it, but because some words don't need replies. They just need to settle in. I sat there with it for a minute, then archived the email and went back to sanding down a cedar plank for a custom bench I was working on. Sawdust drifted over the laptop screen like snow, and I didn't bother brushing it away. People say revenge is fire, hot, fast, wild, but that's not what I needed. What I needed was distance, quiet, control. Not a blow-up scene, not another screaming match, not some dramatic ending filled with tears and apologies, just the slow, steady work of building something solid again. One night, standing in that workshop with sawdust hanging in the air, I realized I finally felt alone. Not abandoned, not betrayed, just alone, in the best way. And maybe someday, if the right woman steps into my path, I'll try again. No fairy tales, no blind faith, just honesty. Work, eyes open. To hear the next story, click the box on the left, and as always, thank you for watching.